What's up, guys? Today we are in Jaco Beach, Costa Rica, and today we're going to be discussing how to make your pull-ups a whole lot harder. There are three common ways that we make our pull-ups a lot harder, and they all involve adding weight. There is one bonus one that we'll get to at the end of the video. Before we go on much longer, I just want to say that if you are adding weight to your pull-ups, then you're an absolute unit. There is no right or wrong way to do so, but I think there are some ways that the way you position the weight and create leverage with it, that can be better in some cases than others. So I just want to show and display how you can get the best bang for your buck in doing so. Let's begin with the weighted vest. Now, I don't have a weighted vest here in Costa Rica. I know this isn't a weighted vest, but it is somewhat of a similar concept. When it comes to weighted pull-ups, there are better options that we'll discuss in a moment. But the advantage of a vest is that it will increase the load dispersed across your shoulders and traps and will result in quite a burn if done properly. Another pro is that they're very portable, so if you're someone who is on the go and you're doing park workouts or workouts at home, it's probably the best option that you have in terms of not having access to weight in a gym. But depending on the quality of vest, you might sometimes find this to hinder your results if it impacts the way you engage your scapula, your shoulders, or just the way it puts pressure on your traps. Another con is that they can be quite costly if you're looking for a good quality weighted vest. And last but not least, they're very hard to scale up once you pass a certain threshold of weight. And eventually, you're gonna need to scale up because you're a beast. The next two options are my personal favorites, and I'll let you know why I use these two in conjunction with each other. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is the weighted dip belt. The weighted dip belt is great for many reasons. The first reason that comes to mind is that it allows you to have your scapula, traps, and shoulder completely free and engage in full range of motion. You can progress with this exercise by first starting off with a shorter chain. A shorter chain allows you to decrease the leverage, keep it closer to your center of mass, and be able to support yourself by squeezing your hips against the weight to be able to make it a little bit easier in the beginning. If you want to make it harder, you can incorporate a longer chain. This is going to effectively make things a little bit more unstable and move the weight a little bit further away from your center of mass. The main reason I like this method and continue to use it to this day is because it's probably the easiest method that we have to be able to progressively overload the movement in a safe manner. Having said that, it's also probably the easiest one that we're able to cheat with. So always keep in mind to use good form and leave your ego at the door as opposed to your crutches. The next method is a method that I've just recently started implementing over the past couple months. Credit goes out to my guy Jeff for this one, and that is pinching a dumbbell between your feet. Maybe you've tried this before and it felt awkward, it was too difficult, and something just didn't feel right. But that's exactly the point. It's supposed to be hard, and we're gonna talk about why that is. Take a moment to think about what's happening here. You wanna think of your body as a resistance band, because when we anchor the weight at the bottom, we're training in our most lengthened position. This allows us to really maximize that stretch and get the most out of a contraction. This leads to more muscle growth and strength gains as a result. Another pro is that this method effectively teaches us to be completely strict in our reps. There is no room to cheat because it forces you to contract all the way from the calves, the quads, the glutes, core, all the way up through to your lats. And in doing so, avoiding all energy leaks. The only downside that I've noticed personally is that it becomes hard to progressively overload this exercise because you can only hang so much weight from your feet. And this is exactly why I still train with a dip belt. The way I do this is with pyramid sets, going up in weight and then back down in weight. Usually my top set Depending on the day and my strength level, I'll feel like doing a 1 to 3 rep range to failure, essentially. And then working my way back down, I try to get up to a 7 to 8 rep range, basically working to failure as well, but with a lighter weight. Now, the last and final method is actually not going to be using any weight at all, but rather leverage. Introducing the L-sit pull-up. You guys really can't go wrong with training this variation. The combination of core strength and stability, as well as pulling strength, makes this the perfect compound pulling exercise. Now, obviously, a lot of the progressions for this are going to be firstly starting with some L-sit progressions if your L-sit is a particular area of weakness. But the one progression for L-sit pull-ups specifically would be hanging a band above you. And I think the perfect setup for this is when you have a Smith machine and you can hang the band from the top of the Smith machine and anchor it to your toes, so it helps with that core compression in the movement. Well guys, I hope these tips and tricks were helpful in the progression of your pull-up. If you found them helpful, please let me know by leaving a comment down below. Smash that like button and subscribe if you want more content just like this. If you guys are currently experiencing a plateau in your pull-ups, or you want to learn specifically strict form, I've left a link down below in the description for a video just on that. As always, until later guys.